Kia ora and welcome to day 4 of the Beer Jerk Advent Calendar Drink Along. I'm Joe.
And I'm Luke.
And this is working title Reality Bites. New Zealand Pilsner brewed with 5 different hops.
Yeah, people might think it's a bit strange that we've imported a New Zealand Pilsner from Australia.
Yeah, it was a easy decision though, talking to the guys at Working Title about this beer. They were so proud of it, fully lagered, so sitting, nice and cold for over a month, get that crisp lager character, and yeah, they were super selective with the hops they used.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And yeah, that's the thing that we've spoken about before, about how lucky we are in New Zealand, as drinkers and also as brewers, to have easy access to so many fantastic hops. But hops, like any other agricultural product, are not all the same. If you get a batch of Motueka, it's just like having, a batch of agri potatoes. You could have some that are really high. That's probably a bad example if you're not a massive potato geek like I am. I used to have a Jack and Potato food truck, but anyway, that's a story for another day.
Bad apples.
Yeah, bad apples. Yeah, you get a flowery bad apple, even though it's smitten apple. Anyway, some hops are better than other hops, and it's about the terroir, it's about how they're grown, it's about how fresh they are. And just batch to batch, they really change. So when you speak to brewers who have a really good relationship with the hop growers, they're brewers that you want to be drinking their beers from, really, especially when they're hop forward beers.
Definitely. Yeah, the guys did an amazing job with this. You sort of think, 5 different hops, that could be a bit of a shit show. But
yeah, it could be a bit of a mashup.
They sort of touched every base with this. You have that kind of lovely diesel-y character from the Riwaka, lovely front end, kind of slight juiciness from the Nectaron.
Yeah.
Just everything going on. A lot of lime in there as well.
And that can definitely be a thing with beers, that it's a recipe, it's like cooking. So if you throw the kitchen sink in there, it might not taste great because it's got everything in there. So to actually, when you see a list of 5 different hops in there, you sometimes think, what is everything bringing to it? But with really good brewers, they really carefully consider what each hop is doing to it. And I think, do you remember when we were chatting to the lads from Brothers a year or so ago? They, because we're mates with the brewers from Brothers, but it's the people that name the beers in the marketing department were sort of slightly disconnected. And they released a beer, which it wasn't called Kitchen Sink, but it was something along those lines.
Along those lines, yeah.
And look, the copy on the back of the can said, we found all these hops and we started to use them in an IPA. And we chatted to Brandon and Alessio, and they're like, that's not what happens at all. Like, it's a melody of different hops, but it makes it sound like it's just a mess of stuff that we found in the back of the chiller we chucked in. That was not the case at all. And it was one of the best beers that they'd made. So, despite there being, because there are lots of different hops here, they're all playing their part, and it is like a melody.
Yeah. And would this be the first Working Title beer sold in New Zealand?
It is. So, as you probably know, just based on the beer we had a couple of days ago here at Beer Jerk, we love importing beers, and it's been amazing to see the fantastic beers coming out of Australia in recent years. The beers have just exploded in how many there are, but also in quality. There are just some really, really world-beating brews in Australia, and still now we speak to drinkers and they're like, what? An Australian beer? Sometimes we put them in our mix boxes and we have people complain saying, you sent us a bunch of Australian beers as if it's like substandard foreign knockoffs or something. So obviously we only go to the pretty significant effort and expense of importing beers. If the beers are going to be fantastic, there's no reason importing stuff when we can just get stuff that's just similar here. So that is why you'll find that a lot of stuff we import, it's more esoteric beer styles. There's something a bit special about them or unique. And Working Title, this is the first time we bought the beers over. I don't know loads about them, other than they're a really new brewery. So their tap room is in Newstead in Brisbane, and that just opened this year. And it was founded by a couple of chaps. One who was I think he was a microbiologist, pretty sure, and the partner being a graphic designer. So a pretty perfect partnership of sort of yin and yang. So obviously it's a beautiful looking can. You can tell a lot of thought has gone into the design. And the title Working Title is just a pretty funny name. That you just give something that you're working on. but also it is just because their philosophy is to be releasing lots of different beers, and their styles are really eclectic, whether it's a Nutella fudge stout or they're a creamsicle lemon XPA, and they haven't re-released many beers. I think they've maybe started with a bit of a core range now they've opened the tap room, but it's really eclectic, new. It's beers that, you know, they're frothers. It's just beers that they're excited about. They're not beers that are brewed by accountants or beers that they think are going to get a big market share. It's just cool stuff, such as what we're drinking today.
Yeah, and we brought over a couple extra things because I'd heard a lot about them and I never really got to try their beers.
Yeah.
So talking to the guys, I grabbed a couple cases of their sort of pastry sours
Yep.
and West Coast IPA as well. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
And
so we've got some of those in the fridges here at the Fridge and Flagon.
yeah, so good to try a bit of Working Title, and hopefully we'll get more over soon.
Yeah, so yeah, always brilliant to share a new brew with you. I think most of you watching this probably will be your first ever Working Title beer. So off to a pretty good bang with, yeah, as Joe said, it's a real Pilsner. It's been lagered for an extended period. That's why it's so crisp, so thirst quenching, so dry. And just you've got that sense of clarity from the lagering. That extended, it's probably lagered 6 or 8 weeks in tank. Just cold conditions to perfection. There's no muddle here. You've got real, I feel like I said clarity of flavour several times in this video, but it's just, that's really what I'm getting from this beer. You're really sort of getting the different notes in there. And yeah, Pilsner's such a fantastic style that, as you probably know, originates in Bohemia and Bavaria. So that's sort of southern Czechia and southeast Germany. And there are various different styles of Pilsners. But yeah, this is definitely more in the world of the sort of the New World Pilsner. I won't get too into what a New Zealand Pilsner is, because it will be a whole other rant in the video for another 10 minutes. But often New Zealand Pilsners are often made with an ale yeast, which is a top fermented yeast rather than a bottom fermented yeast. And to my mind and my taste buds, they can taste more like just a lovely XPA, which is delicious and a really nice hoppy style. But yeah, what I'm really enjoying about this is the it's a real crisp lager that's made with tons of really delicious hops, and you really cannot go wrong with that approach to a beer.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, that's everything from me.
Cool, everything from me. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow for day 5. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
Cheers to Working Title. Cheers to you.